All right, crew, we're back in, and today we're talking on market research. And if you're just getting your agency started, this is something that I think is essential into building some of the foundations of your agency. And so far in kind of this series, in the agency therapy series, we have talked a little bit about the niche shell. We've talked about focusing down the niche, building out what we call our niche shell. So if you missed that one, make sure you go check that video out first, because I think that's a more foundational piece than what we're going to be talking today, which is the market research and actually picking out what niche you're going to be going after. So kind of zooming in here to our Miro board, we have a identifying the sub niches. Now, I picked a random niche. I just kind of did a little bit of research, and I picked the outdoor and adventure niche, and this is specifically in the e-com. So if you're not in e-com, this could be for anything. This could be for local lead gen. And then the sub niches here are going to be tents, backpacks, kayaks, GPS devices, hiking boots. Okay, that's where I'm going to get started in some of my market research. Now, when we're thinking about market research, okay, we're thinking market demands and trends. Okay, so we're just going to do some keyword research here, really basic stuff. And I took some screenshots of some keyword research that I did recently. And as you can see here, like when we're looking at market demands and trends, we're looking for upwards. Okay, upwards in consistency inside of these trends. Chances are, if it is trending upward, it's a good niche to potentially go after. So if I look here inside of our market trends, I took a couple screenshots. The first one that I looked into is best hiking boots. Okay, very outdoor type niche. Okay, this would be a really good indicator of like, hey, our companies selling boots online and brands selling boots online. Okay. And as we can see here, it's been a upward trajectory since Google started their analytics side of it's been pretty consistent growth. Now, we could see some dips and valleys in there and stuff. Typically, that is a sign of seasonality, which inside of the outdoor and adventure niche, that's probably something that's going to happen, is you're going to have some seasonality, as we can see here with trail running, especially. Once again, still on an upward trend over the past, 10 years or so. But what we'll see here is we'll see some pretty big dips, and that's simply because of seasonality, and it's pretty consistent. Okay, so that's something to be thinking about as you're doing your research, is like, hey, is there seasonality to the niche that I'm getting into? Okay, and this niche has enough, and there's one that I did here for like handheld GPS for an example here. You can see like back in like before 2010, super popular. Okay, but as the years progressed, technology got better. iPhones came into play, even like the watches that have the GPSs built in came into play. There wasn't really a need for handheld GPSs. So it's really been on a downward trend. So chances are you're probably not going to want to work with handheld GPS companies, because it's kind of a dying trend. Okay. And then from here, we looked at kayaks as well. You can see kind of over the past few years, we've seen some good peaks and valleys here. It's been kind of on a downward trend recently, but you could see there's some seasonality to kayak brands. So people that are selling kayaks, probably during the winter time, they have horrible sales. But during the summer times, it's a really peak season. They probably sell a lot of kayaks. So with that being said, we can see that there is one combination of seasonality here with some of these products, okay, which is totally fine. Like, we're not afraid of seasonality, because there's also the opposite side of the seasonality as well, where we'll have more like the winter products, your snowboards, your snow boots, helmets, that type of gear, right? So there's still going to be seasonality for outdoor and adventure, whether it's on the winter side or the summer side. So I know that this is a relatively safe niche for me to dive into, because there's interest, it's growing over time, and people are very interested in outdoor experiences. So with that being said, I'm going to give this the stamp of approval that the outdoor and adventure niche is a good niche to probably jump into if you want to do something specific inside of the outdoor and adventure space, okay? From there, I'm going to start kind of looking at the competitive landscape of the agency space inside of outdoor and adventure. And so kind of what I'm looking in here, and I'll zoom into our competitor analysis checklist, which is going to be, I'm going to be looking at service offerings, pricing structures, client reviews, and marketing strategies. So there's some things that you can do, and I used a website called similarweb.com, where you can kind of see some of the monthly visitors and see how some of the other agencies in the space are currently getting monthly visitors on their website. Now, for this, I'm kind of looking just at monthly visitors, and I can see here a majority of these are under 5,000 monthly visitors. Now, whether that's a lack of traffic or simply, they're not as great as their on their own marketing efforts, that could be one thing. But it seems like there's some opportunity for a market leader to step in and take some positioning from some of these agencies, okay? Because I think that this is a bigger marketplace than people have realized simply just looking at the trends here. And being able to see the traffic that's being ran to these websites, it's not very high, right? So this tells me that it's not an overly saturated niche, and that there's probably some positioning here that can be done to get more traffic to my own website when I do stand that up. And then from there, once I've kind of looked at some of the competitors' websites, I've looked at some of their service offerings, I'm seeing what they're offering, I'm seeing their pricing structures, because some people will put their pricing structure on their website. It's not recommended on our end, but I'm going to be able to kind of see, hey, what are some of the trends? What are some of the things that they're gearing up for? Like, is it paid advertisement? Is it video and content creation? Is it CRO and SEO, right? What are the actual service offerings that they're putting out into the marketplace? That is a really good indicator of things that are working, because if it wasn't working, they probably wouldn't have that service. So I'm going to start comparing and contrasting service offerings, see where the holes are, see if what gaps I can kind of come in and bring a new service offering in if necessary. Okay. Now, once again, this has some saturation in there, so chances are will be a new service in a partially saturated niche already, because chances are there's probably people out there that are doing content creation specifically for this niche already. Okay. Now, from there, I'm going to be doing a SWOT analysis. And if you guys aren't familiar with the SWOT analysis, before you launch any type of brand, before you launch any type of business, you should typically do a SWOT analysis on a couple different things. So if you're not familiar with SWOT, SWOT just stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And our strengths and weaknesses are always internal. Okay. And then our opportunities and threats are always external. So let me explain what that means. So strengths and weaknesses, that's things that we have control over, or things that internally we have strengths on or weaknesses. So on the strengths column, maybe we're really good at video production. Once again, this goes back to our zone of genius that we talked about in the last episode. But hey, post-production editing, we're really great at copywriting, scheduling and posting, video production, but maybe we're not as good as like the media buying side, right? Like we can't do the ad buying quite yet. We have to rely on someone else for that, or it's just something that is completely outside of scope for us. So with that being said, that is something that would fall under a weakness of ours, right? Is going to be ad buying, right? We can't run the media. Okay. But internal strengths, we have a lot there that we can start to turn into an offering. And then from there, I'm going to look at opportunities. Hey, are there specific opportunities for, say, like a video agency, a video content creation agency to produce ad creatives for these outdoor brands? Is that an opportunity? Because when I did my research, I didn't see a lot of brands out there that were specific to video content for these types of brands. There were some brands out there that did a mix of things, and they did, ads, they did SEO, CRO, all of these different services, but there wasn't a specific agency out there that I saw that did video content for these specific brands. Okay. So that's an opportunity there, and that's where we can excel a little bit more. And that's an external function. Okay. And then from there, what are the threats as well? For me, I didn't see a whole lot of threats. The biggest threat here is going to be the seasonality of some of these products, which means that sometimes the contracts might be a little bit odd, right? Because if the seasonality for a summer product, say something like trail running shoes, you're probably not going to have a ton of people that are buying trail running shoes during the winter time. Okay. And so what that means is that sometimes that our invoices or the accounts payable side or the accounts receivable side of our business is not going to allow us to collect revenue. Okay. And that contracts might run dry during the winter time. So that is an external threat that we might want to note here, that the seasonality is going to affect how we're invoicing clients. So just a quick analysis of, hey, what are some of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? This is going to be foundational in order for you guys to pick a great niche the first time around and not go down into a niche that is lacking in opportunity, because once again, there's got to be opportunity there for us to capture. And if you do this analysis, chances are you're going to find some of the holes and some of the gaps in the marketplace that you can bring in a new offering. And then also you might find out that the specific niche that you're going after does not have a ton of opportunity, right? And that's why we do this, is so we don't waste a ton of time and effort on an idea that is going to lead us nowhere. So make sure you guys do a little bit of market research. Okay, there's other ways to do market research as well, but these are the ones that I typically do. Some sort of, once again, as a recap, I'm going to look at some of the Google trends for that specific niche. I'm going to do a competitor analysis just to see what's out there already, and then I'm going to do a SWOT analysis. So do those three things. You could take some of the frameworks here that I've laid out. These are all relatively simple things to do. And if you have questions on that, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section below. What we'll do on this one, I'll put the template for the SWOT analysis. That's really the only thing that is templatized here inside of the description of the video. So make sure you guys go into the description, grab the template for the SWOT analysis. And that's what I got for you guys today. Do your competitor analysis. It's going to be helpful with you starting your agency. We'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe to the video, or subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.